Hey, Julianna, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
We're doing great.
It is very good to see you, Julianna. We definitely want to have you on tonight, but we especially wanted to have you on here with Emily Miller from the Washington Times because she's a girl and a gun now too.
Yeah, that's so exciting. I'm following what she's doing. It's very inspirational.
Well, I'm following you. So,
That's cool.
It's a girl thing, Cameron. Just
well,
let 'em go.
I mean, one day I hope to be, even in the ballpark of somebody like you and shooting, and even know what the pieces of the gun are called.
So tell us, catch us up on exactly what the club is, and every time we talk to you, you are expanding more and more. Tell us where you've expanded to lately.
Well, A Girl and a Gun Women's Shooting League, we focus on hosting girls' night out at the shooting range and other events and classes to get women out to the range just so that they have a secure and comfortable place to practice or to learn, step out in their own path of finding self-defense or, getting into a competitive shooting sport. So this summer we launched Colorado, Virginia, Birmingham, Alabama had their first meet and greet last night. Baton Rouge, Louisiana had their first big night almost 3-4 weeks ago. So we've been real busy launching chapters everywhere. Oh, and Oklahoma City is huge now. We launched them a few weeks ago as well. So we're very excited about stepping out of Texas and getting these other states involved.
So how do you find women, and how do they hear about you? How do you find them? Because I've started, I don't want anyone to be scared about me teaching people to shoot, but one thing is I do think it's fine. I've taken some of my girlfriends who've never shot a gun or even been probably around a gun to the range, and teach them some of the NRA rules, and then just let them target shoot with a .22, and but that's just been sort of like word of mouth, or my friends see a picture of me shooting on Facebook and go, I want to do that. But how do you recruit girls and women, and what do you say to them?
I've been really lucky to have all the leaders that have stepped forward to be chapter facilitators share a common story with me of being a firearms instructor or a competitive shooter and the path that we've taken in the industry to get to where we are, and that we have a desire to teach more women and encourage those women. And then the people who are coming forward as members or participants in our events are kind of like you. They want to learn. They're looking for other women to be social with, so they're finding us on social media. We're putting our advertisements out at the gun shows, at the local gun stores. We're finding them through their husbands that we know at the shooting range. So really, and Emily, what you're doing is taking ladies out to the shooting range and giving them the safe handling rules is the exact same thing we do, just in a larger scale, and that's what it's all about. So we're really big on being community and being mentors for each other. One of our members in my Leander chapter said to me just a couple weeks ago, she said, I'm a NRA instructor for almost every certification you can get. What I love is I can come to this event and I can help somebody that knows less than me, but there's always somebody that knows more than me that I can learn from too. And that's what it's all about.
That's sort of a great, I think, attitude to have. Is no one's going to ever be the best, but just
right.
As long as you can get the bad guy. And that's really what I was going to ask you is people with me having a gun. I get a lot of, why do you have a gun? Why would you have a gun? And somehow I feel as if I said, oh, I really like skeet shooting, or, I really like this sport or hunting, it would somehow be okay. But, I say to them, I have a gun for self-defense to, protect myself. And do you find that, the women you're seeing, is it sport that's driving them? Is it self-defense? And, what are the motivations?
It's all things. So, we primarily focus on pistol work because that's what's easy to do in a girls' night out kind of, situation. But they're interested in skeet shooting. They're interested in learning how to hunt. They're interested in learning how to take better care of themselves for self-defense, the what ifs of life. We really are trying to empower the women and the members that come to us to take responsibility for their own personal safety and give them the tools to feel confident to do that.
Well, I'll say, the numbers show that, it's coming close to you because Gallup, I think it was last October, came out with a poll showing that women gun ownership was the highest it's ever been in history. I think it's 43% say they have a gun in the home. So, it is becoming more common for women to protect themselves. And, I think in all economic levels and in all places, in cities and rural places, it's becoming more acceptable as everyone has more firearms. Means the highest rate of home ownership ever for everyone. So, you're really on the vanguard of something, that's both, I would say, trendy is how some people would say it, or I would say, moving in the right direction.
Well, I kind of hate to, tell my secret out loud here, but I do call it my bait and switch. I do. I have a hard time. Sometimes we, as instructors, have a hard time getting the novice shooter into a class because they're scared, or a lady that has some experience doesn't think she needs a class on anything defensive-minded with her gun. So I decided to have a networking social hour, just, girls' night out, which, innocent, that's so innocent. We go have dinner afterwards. Come on, let's go to the range. So I'm getting them there under the social pretense of no stress. Let's have a good time. Let's learn something. Let's step out of our comfort zone. Let's gain a little confidence. And then they're getting addicted on their own time. They're, wanting to learn for their own reasons, and I don't have to push so hard. They're coming seeking the information because they feel better about themselves and they feel better about gun ownership.
Well, I think, for women more than men, the first time you shoot a gun, it's just scary. There's men, I think, you got boys grow up playing with guns. It's just more common. For women, it's scary, but once you do it, it's so fun. And I know that, I'm just talking about it with Rob, and I'm like jumping out of my chair, and I just want to go shoot something. And, I would take my girlfriends, and, once they get over that fear of the first trigger pull, they're so excited and the biggest smile on their face, and they all want to come back. So, it is fun. And, people don't realize that. I've never tried it.
When I took my wife and I went out shooting for the first time, she also called it empowering. The first time, she was a little intimidated. She started putting rounds downrange. She loved it. It was awesome.
All right, so we have about a minute left here. Emily, you were talking earlier about fashions for women in this industry. Julianna, talk about women's gun fashion and the state of the industry when it comes to that.
The only point I made, Julianna, is that this whole industry, everything is picked by men, chosen by men, and I don't want a pink gun. I have a gun the Navy SEALs use. So I'm not about that. I just meant there's such a market out there for cute sporting clothes, and cute eyewear, and we have all this stupid camo stuff to choose from.
We did a membership survey this summer, and what color was your favorite color of gun? And overwhelmingly, the ladies were still choosing black as their favorite color. But, I carry, all my guns are purple. My rifle, my shotgun, my pistol, they're all purple because that's what I like. If somebody wants pink or green or blue, I don't care what color the gun is, as long as it allows that woman to have a relationship with the gun. I even tell them to name it. Just do whatever you can do to establish a relationship, a training pattern, whatever makes you feel better about that gun. I'm all for it.
Very cool. Julianna, we love you. We love having you on. Love
you too.
We love watching you, AGAG Club on Twitter. So love watching, every time you have a new chapter out. I always feel very proud because, we talked to you a couple years ago and you were just there in Texas. And now you're bad. You're nationwide, as your Texan ZZ Top would say. So,
I want to give a quick shout out. We're having our first annual conference in March 2013 in Waco, Texas. 2.5 days of training with some of the top female instructors in the country. Members only. You got to come.
I think Emily's at Expedia right now.